Hello everyone, I'm back with my English challenge and a little bit of an extension, particularly for my post-16 English class. So what I would like you to do first of all is watch the other video I uploaded that's titled CN's Poem Challenge, all about the Hope-opotamus, because that is going to be the base of this challenge. So if you haven't seen that yet, pause this video, click the link in the description and watch that video first. Okay, so we are going to be looking at the challenge bit I set around doing a matching game, a game of pairs using those rhyming words at the end of each line. So what you're going to need for this ideally is 4 different coloured pieces of paper. If you do only have white, that is okay. You'll need scissors and a pencil, and you'll need some pens, okay? So the challenge for this video is to create yourself a set of matching cards where we're going to be looking for the rhymes. But the extension to this is us working on our synonyms and our antonyms. So I'm hoping that some of you are thinking, oh yes, I recognise those words and I can remember what they mean. Synonyms is the one that we always got stuck on. It is not the spice we use to flavour our cookies, that is cinnamon. But synonyms are words that have similar meanings or similar definitions. And if a synonym is a word that has a similar meaning, can you remember what an antonym is? So our antonyms are words that have the opposite definition. So the extension challenge here is that when we're doing our matching game and trying to find our words that rhyme, can we also find some synonyms and some antonyms for those words to improve our vocabulary? This will make our reading better as we will understand some new words, and it will make our writing better as we can use more exciting words in our writing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you what we will do with the paper, pens and scissors that we've got and how we could have a go at playing this game, okay? Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do with your 4 pieces of paper is cut them up into little cards. If you want to get some maths practice in there as well, I recommend using a ruler and pencil to try and make all your cards the same size. Each colour is going to represent a different thing we look for in our pairs game. So as you can see, I have labelled my cards here. It's quite tricky to see the difference in the colour on the camera, but this is green and this is blue. So this is going to be the start of our rhyming game. So we've got rhyme 1 and rhyme 2. You don't have to label the back of each. You could just have one card labelled for the key, or you could just remember that green is rhyme 1 and blue is rhyme 2. I've then labelled yellow as my synonyms and pink as my antonyms. You'll notice that I've only got one rhyme 1 and one rhyme 2, but I've got 2 synonyms and 2 antonyms. Why do you think that might be? Well, that's it, because we're going to come up with a synonym for rhyme 1 and a synonym for rhyme 2, and an antonym for rhyme 1 and an antonym for rhyme 2. So let's turn these over and have a look at the examples I did earlier. So again, these are from the poem The Hope-opotamus by Greg James and Chris Smith. And in stanza number 4, remembering in poetry, stanzas are a bit like paragraphs. In stanza number 4, we have the line, "But those are the times when you've got to keep moving. And with every small step, you will see things improving." So moving and improving are our rhyming words. They both end in the V-I-N-G, in fact O-V-I-N-G, so we've got that same sound, ving, at the end. Okay, well let's have a look and see what synonyms we could come up with for moving and improving. Before you create your own synonyms, think, can you give yourself a definition of each of these words? If you're struggling, perhaps using a dictionary would help, as a dictionary is a place to find the definitions of all the words in the English language. If you don't have a dictionary at home, go online and use dictionary.com. So let's have a look at the synonyms that we've got over here. So my synonym for moving is travelling, because it means to go from one place to another, movement, travelling. So these have similar meanings. My synonym for improving is bettering. So improving means getting better, doing better. So bettering. Okay, so these mean similar and these mean similar. Now we need to try and think of the opposite. So let's have a think what we could do to find the opposite. Well, I have used my definition of moving as either going from one place to another or moving a part of your body from one place to another. So my opposite is still. So my finger has gone from moving to still. These are the opposite definitions. And my antonym for improving is worsening. Instead of things getting better, the opposite is that they're actually getting worse. Now, these were ones I was able to come up with in my head because I knew the definitions of my two words. So as I say, step one, if you're not sure of the definition, is to go and find it in a dictionary. See if you can look it up. Perhaps ask an adult to put it into a sentence for you, because sometimes if it's in a sentence, we can use the context to work out the definition. If after you've got the definition, you can come up with some synonyms and antonyms on your own, that is fantastic. But some of these might be quite tricky. There is another tool that we can use to help us, particularly with our synonyms. So another book that we sometimes use in our lessons is the Thesaurus. And a thesaurus is a book that finds synonyms for you. Now again, if you don't have a thesaurus at home, I don't, I used Thesaurus Online. And if you go to the Thesaurus Online, it will also have some antonyms for you, okay? So we're just going to have a look together at an example of a couple of other lines from the poem, and then we'll just come back and see how we could play this game against somebody else to see who can get the most pairs. So let's have a look together now at the poem, read some more lines, and we'll fill out an example card of each, and then we'll have a look at how we could play this game. Okay, so let's have a look at the poem, The Hope-O-Potamus from the Book of Hopes by Greg James and Chris Smith. Just make myself a bit bigger there. Okay. So we have the hippopotamus, and in the first stanza, in a drought in the dust, in a dry river bed, a sad hippopotamus hung his grey head. Well, straight away, those first two lines have a rhyming pair in them, bed and head. And actually, this is a riverbed, so this could be a good pair for you to start your game with at home, as it's not the bed we'd normally think of. I'm going to keep reading because it's quite a long poem, so you don't have to do every rhyme you find. He'd had nothing to drink since the start of this week. If he didn't find water, things could get quite bleak. I'd really like you to have a go at weak and bleak, because bleak is a fantastic word to use as a synonym for something else. Okay, as we keep reading, I know there's two that I want to put into my game. So I'm going to come all the way down to stanza 5, stanza 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here. So we have ahead, a high mountain rose up in the distance. It looked rocky and steep, but with hippo persistence, he decided he'd walk till he had overcome it, in case there were better things over the summit. So I am going to use distance and persistence. So what I'm going to do now is take one of my green cards for rhyme 1, and I'm going to write the word distance on my card. And then I'm going to take one of my blue cards for rhyme number 2, and I'm going to write persistence. Okay, so now I have my 2 rhymes to add into my matching game, but I need to come up with some synonyms and some antonyms. So I'm going to start with my synonyms, which remember are words that mean similar things. And I'm going to think about the word distance. Well, I know that
the word distance is a length. If I am measuring the distance from this hand to this hand, I'm looking at the length. I also know that perhaps I could be talking about the distance as a gap. It is the gap in between this hand and this hand. And also in this sentence, we are looking at a high mountain that rose up in the distance. If I am in the distance, I am in a place far away. So I am going to actually use the word away for my synonym because of the context of the line in the poem. But if you would like to use the synonym of length, that would be fantastic as well. So now I have written on my yellow card away as one of my synonyms. Let me have a think and see if I can come up with a synonym for persistence. Now this might need to be a word that you look up in the dictionary. I know that persistence is when you keep doing things to try and get the outcome you want. So it's not giving up. If you are persistent, you keep trying again and trying again and trying again. So a word that I would really like to use as a synonym this time is determined. So I'm going to put determined on my yellow card as well. Okay, that's my two synonyms done. Now I need to have a go at my antonyms. So this time it's the pink piece of paper for me. So I'm going to look it up and I'm going to say, right, distance. We said that a distance was a length or being far away or a gap. What is the opposite to being far away? It's being very close up. So I'm going to write close as my antonym. And remember, these are words with similar or opposite meanings, but it doesn't mean they are exactly the same and exactly opposite, because in this case, distance means being in the distance. So the context is important. Okay, and the last thing I need to fill out for this game to work is another antonym, but for persistence this time. So if persistence is keeping trying again and again and again, and being determined or stubborn to keep going, what do we think the opposite of that could be? I might go, in this case, not an exact antonym, but I might go with just giving up. So you can use phrases if you want, but the opposite to being persistent and keeping going is giving up. Okay, so now I have got my completed ones. Let's just cut back to the other camera view where you can see me have a go at this game. A reminder, a link to this book with the poem will be in the description below, and if it's helpful for you to see on the screen here, I'll just show you that when you're at the start of the book on this page, as you flick through to the contents page here, you can click on each contribution, short story or poem to get there rather than clicking through every page. So on the next bit, you can see here we have the hippopotamus. So I'm just going to click on that and it'll take me straight to it. So hopefully that's helped some of you find it. But what we're going to do now is have a look at how we play this fight.
Okay, so here is a mini example setup of the game. Once you have read through the poem and perhaps come up with maybe 10 rhyming pairs to create your game, if you find that a bit tricky, start with 5. You can lay them out however you want. You could have a column of all one colour, or you could do like me and jumble them all up. Then challenge a sibling, a parent, a carer, or even just challenge yourself against the clock and see if you can find all of the words that go together. So I'm going to start off by looking for a rhyming pair. So I'm going to start with rhyme number 1. Distance. So you'll know from this video that I'm hoping to find persistence. Now, do we think it's that one or that one? I'm going to try the one right next to it. Oh no, I've got improving. So that is not a match. I turn it back over and it's whoever I'm playing against go. Now I'm actually here on my own today, so I'm going to have another go. And I'm going to go with this one again because I know now it must be up here. So let's have a look and see if we've got persistence. Yes, we do. So I found my rhyming pair, but now I've got to try and find my synonyms. So I'm going to go for this one. So I'm either hoping for my synonym of persistence or my synonym of distance. And I have got away, which is a synonym of distance. So I can keep going. Oh, what do we think? Synonym for persistence. I'm going to go this one over here. Yes, determined. So now I have got my 2 rhyming words and my 2 synonyms, and I would just need to keep playing until I'd found the antonyms. Let's have one last go. I'm going to go with this one over here. Oh no, I've got worsening. That is not the opposite of distance or the opposite of persistence. Worsening was actually the opposite to improving. So have a go at this game. You can make it as simple or as tricky as you like. You could just start off by finding your rhyming pairs. Then you can bring in your synonyms and your antonyms. If you want, you don't have to do it as an upside down pairs game. If you want, you could have them all facing and just see if you can group them together in the right categories. I hope you enjoy this. Please do let me know if you would like me to set some more challenges, and I look forward to seeing you back on the video soon. Thanks everyone. Bye bye.